sports.
We are Black Horse. We are Ohio.
Jim Thome came to Cleveland a wide-eyed rookie almost 30 years ago. It didn't take long for him to fix his gaze on opposing hitters while launching prodigious home run blasts. He is the Indians' all-time leader in home runs, and his 612 career homers rank 8th in baseball history. Jim Thome will go down as one of the greatest players in franchise history. His competitive spirit and his humility led to the revitalization of a once dormant franchise. And now, he has taken his place among the game's all-time greats in Cooperstown. This weekend, one last moment in the sunshine for James Howard Thome, as the Indians welcome in the Baltimore Orioles for a 3-game weekend series. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. We're going to hear from Jim Thome. He will join us during the telecast tonight. We'll also hear from his former manager, Mike Hargrove, but there is a game to play. And Carlos Carrasco is headlining now an Indian starting rotation that is just dominant.
Well, Carlos has been on a roll by himself, and after the All-Star break, he's pitched very well, 3-1, second lowest ERA in the league, trailing David Price. He got his 14th win in his last start, and Carlos has won 6 of his last 7 decisions. And when you look at the starting rotation, how about the month of August? The starters have been unhittable, 8-1, which ranks first. Their ERA is under 2, and you can see in the month, the Indians are 11-3, so this is how this club works. It revolves around starting pitching. You get some key hits, you let the bullpen close the door, and that's why you win.
Don't look now. The Indians are getting hot. They've won 5 in a row as they open up this weekend series with Baltimore. Cookie Carrasco is on the bump. When we come back, we'll also hear from Alan Jensen with the showstopper, and we'll check in with Andre Nye. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by Who But WB Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians, and by your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. Made in Ohio, Ohio proud.
Game weekend set, and the Indians are back on the road tonight. Carlos Carrasco is on the mound for the Indians. Welcome back to center field along with Jensen Lewis, Al Pulowski. We have a true showstopper for you tonight from last night. The Texas Rangers did something that hasn't been done since June 3rd of 1912 when the Brooklyn Dodgers did it. They were the last team to pull off a triple play without retiring the batter.
All right, Jurickson Profar did the right thing, though. He waited to make sure he had applied the tag in the correct order, okay? So he waits till the runner leaves, so that's an automatic out. Then he gets the force. Then they get the rundown. Mike Scioscia says, wait, hold on. No, it was reviewed.
Triple play.
It was upheld. What a triple play by the Texas Rangers last night.
It was definitely one for the ages, no doubt about that. Let's head upstairs now. Matt Underwood and Rick Manning have the call on tonight's game, and fellas, that's something you will literally see only once every 110 years or so.
Yeah, that one was definitely strange. And every once in a while you get runners moving, a ball gets hit, and all hell breaks loose.
Total chaos, absolutely. It certainly can happen.
Well, it's a beautiful night here. It looked like it was going to be iffy. There was rain in the forecast, but the baseball gods have smiled on us. Sunshine here at the outset, Indians O's, and a great Jim Thome weekend celebration. I said the other night in Cincinnati, the person I most feel sorry for right now, Indians trainers dealing with Trevor Bauer, because he is not a happy young man. And Andre Knott joins us more with the Hear Right sounds of the game.
Matt, you were absolutely dead on. How are you, Frankie? Have a good game tonight. All right, but you were dead on. The trainers have the toughest job in Cleveland, Ohio for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Why? They've got to deal with Trevor Bauer trying to figure out when he can come back. He told me earlier today if it was up to him, he would be on the mound right now with that boot or without the boot. Instead, he had to go out and throw from his knees. He threw 100 throws yesterday, about 100 again today. He's a little bit concerned that may mess up his mechanics, but if it's up to Trevor Bauer, you will see him again this season pitching for the Indians.
I pitched today on my normal day if I was allowed to, so there's probably the smart way to go about it, which is why we have medical staff and experts to rein players in who obviously everyone wants to be out there and competing. So it's a balancing act between what I think I can handle and what the experts are telling me is wise, and so we'll balance that. But pain tolerance isn't an issue. Whatever, I'll pitch or anything, I don't care.
The guy pitched in the ALCS with blood all over the mound. Is there any reason to think he's not going to come back from this?
No, and you know what? He's he let them do it, and I'll tell you what, he's crazy, but I'll tell you what, he's a gamer.
He's a good crazy.
Yeah, he is. He's a gamer, and he wants to play. That's what it tells me. But he's going to have to take the reins in a little bit, and I'm sure he will, but he doesn't like it. All right, let's check out Carlos Carrasco now. He is going to be tonight's Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher for the Indians, and Carrasco's been on a nice roll. He faced the Orioles once earlier this year, April 23rd in Baltimore. He got the win. He went 7 1/3, 6 hits, 1 run. And in his career, he's 3-2 against the Orioles. He's won 6 out of his last 7 decisions. Carlos, he breezed in his last start, gave up an unearned run in 7 innings on 3 hits. So he's on a roll, and there's no reason why he's not going to continue. He's 7-3 at home. He's 7-3 on the road.
The Baltimore Orioles starting lineup for Buck Showalter looks a little different. Cedric Mullins, he's the new kid in town, the hotshot center fielder. He'll lead it off. Jonathan Villar, they traded for him from Milwaukee. He's a second base batting second. Trey Mancini hits third. Mark Trumbo, Chris Davis, couple of holdovers from the start of the season batting in the middle. Renato Nunez will hit 6. Tim Beckham is going to be in the 7 hole. Then Joey Rickard and Caleb Joseph catching batting 9.
Let's check out the defense for the Indians, brought to you by Chrysler. It'll be Brantley on left, Allen is in center, Cabrera over in right. On the infield, it'll be Ramirez and Lindor on the left side. Kipnis, Alonso are on the right side, and Yan Gomes behind the plate.
Speaking of behind the plate, that's where Greg Gibson, the home plate umpire, works. Nick Lentz is at first, Jordan Baker at second, crew chief Jerry Lane down at third. And with that, we're ready to go. 77 degrees at game time under cloudy skies. Cedric Mullins takes it down low.
This young man made his major league debut on Friday. All he did was go 3 for 4, a couple of doubles, 2 ribbies, and 3 runs scored.
First Oriole ever to have 3 hits in his major league debut.
Yeah, you're not just looking for your first hit. He put 3 on the board early. That's a way to break in, that's for sure.
He's 23 years old. He'll turn 24 right at the end of the season. Carlos Carrasco comes back with a fastball to even the count, or to run the count full at 3-2. Not a big guy, 5'8", 175-pound switch hitter. Pops it high in the air, shallow right. Backpedaling is Kipnis. In comes Cabrera. Melky calls him off. 1 down. Storylines are brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Mullins is the rookie to watch for Baltimore. It'll be interesting to see how he fares against this very tough Indians pitching staff. And Jose Ramirez, he's already put a hurting on Baltimore.
Who hasn't he put a hurting on?
Exactly. There's been a couple of teams that have had his number, and that's about it. Jonathan Villar, formerly with Milwaukee, came over in the Jonathan Scope deal. More importantly, Baltimore got a couple of young prospects, an infielder and a pitcher. But I wouldn't necessarily just classify Villar as the classic throw-in. I mean, he's a veteran who still, I think, still can play and still has good years ahead of him, I would think.
Well, Milwaukee wanted to make some moves and they wanted to get a second baseman, but Baltimore, you can't get all prospects. You need people that can play at the big league level. So here's a guy that is capable of going out there and manning the ship until they see what they have.
Now the 1-2. Little roller, and it's going to go foul. Yeah, that's a good point you make, Arch, because I remember way back when the Indians traded Bartolo Colon. We all talk about Grady Sizemore and Brandon Phillips and Cliff Lee. But Lee Stevens also came in that trade because they needed a big leaguer too.
Right. You got to put somebody at the big league level, and he was like a first baseman slash DH, or maybe even move him to the outfield, but he could fit into a major league lineup. You know, and with all the trades that Baltimore have made, they're trying to replenish their farm system for the future.
Fastball up and away. 2-2. Villar is hit in 4 straight games. And the 2-2 swung on and missed. Carlos Carrasco gets his first strikeout of the night, give him 156 on the year.
Check it out on our Nissan pitch tracker. There's the breaking ball. Looked more like a curve than it did a slider. It went straight down. Nasty pitch. Good movement. Gets the swing over the top and gets the second out.
And now Trey Mancini. Mancini, good power, and he's been on a bit of a binge of late. He has hit 5 home runs in his last 17 games. Just a bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mancini would fit in well with the Indians in that he likes to hit early. In the first inning this year, he holds a .375 batting average.
He'd fit right in.
Cookie's got him in the hole, though, 1-2, and he put him away. Breaking ball, he got him to go fish. The Orioles go 1-2-3. The Indians are coming to bat.
Major league start will be the first against the Indians. Spent some time down in Norfolk AAA this year, and you can see his record is 2-6, a .625. The 14 home runs in the innings that he has thrown in his 59 innings. He's given up the long ball this year, and the Indians have hit a lot of long balls in this ballpark this year.
Starting 9 brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez, Yandi Diaz back in the lineup. He'll DH hit cleanup. Then it's Alonso and Cabrera, followed by Kipnis, Gomes, and Greg Allen. Fastball strike. Lindor trying to snap an 0 for 7. Fouled right back. He's still 8th in the American League in home runs. He is among the top 10 in runs batted in. Tied for the league lead in multi-hit games. 3rd in extra base hits. Still leading the league in runs scored with 102. Number 1 in doubles with 39. But Villar is going to handle the ground out for the first out of the inning.
Let's check the Orioles defense. In the outfield, Mancini is in left field. It'll be Mullins in center, Rickard over in right. Nunez at third, Beckham is at short, Villar is at second, Davis at first, and Joseph behind the plate.
And it brings up Michael Brantley. Brantley is hot. He's hitting 5 straight, and so far in the month of August he has batted .340. One ball, one strike. Slow curveball, but it missed out of the strike zone. And the count is 2-1. Down low, 3 balls and a strike. Fastball just over the outside corner, and the count goes full.
Well, with Michael, the way he's been swinging the bat, he's been very patient. He's making him get in the strike zone, and that was not a pitch he was looking for in a 3-1 count.
And that's ball 4. A 1-out base runner for Jose Ramirez.
Batting third for the Indians, number 11, the third baseman, Jose Ramirez.
Jose back home. I see him with a different bat tonight than he had out on the road trip.
Buck Showalter in his 9th season. The question, will it be his last with the Orioles? Baltimore, obviously, they are in a rebuild. Buck's not afraid of that. He's gone through it before. He jump-started the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yes,
in fact, you could make a case he jump-started the New York Yankees before Joe Torre took over the reins.
The Texas Rangers as well. You might as well add that name into it. He's done a wonderful job around. By the time you know, the team gets ready to win, he put all the hard work and labor into it, and then they get rid of him and bring somebody else in, and they reap the benefits.
Ramirez is 7th in the league in batting average, 2nd in homers, 3rd in runs batted in. Goes that foul. And in the first inning, he has been a one-man wrecking crew.
No kid, you talk about jump-starting your team, man. 32 ribbies in the first inning this year, 12 home runs. It's crazy. Okay, slow little curveball there. That's his, maybe his change of pace. Haven't seen a changeup yet.
A 3-1. Drill. Deep right field. Rickard looking up. Gone to Souvenir City. Jose Ramirez has done it again, and he has tied J.D. Martinez for the league lead with his 37th home run.
Boy, oh boy, you got to be careful with a fastball to this guy. He threw him the 2-0 fastball, but it was down and in. And Jose, it doesn't matter where the fastball is. He can cover the whole play, but you get a heater here, and it's middle in, and that's not coming back. So give him his 13th home run in the first inning. Tack on 2 more ribbies. That's 34, and the Indians are going to play from in front. It's 2-0.
The 13 first inning home runs for Ramirez this year. We believe those are the most ever by an Indians player. And now Yandi Diaz, he just continues to hit.
What's new? He finally gets his chance to get back in the lineup, and the first pitch he sees, he's going to line it into left field. Wasn't able to really DH when we were in Cincinnati after coming off a big series in Chicago.
Yeah, that's a tough break for a young player who's, you know, swinging it well. He had hit 360 in his last 13 games before he got the call up, and he sat down, and it didn't seem to affect him one bit.
No, because he had the big pinch hit there that turned that one game around, the second game in that series.
Yonder Alonso with a 4-game hit streak. And he hits a ground ball right at the first baseman Davis. They get one there. Back to first, inning-ending double play. We've played an inning in Cleveland, and Jose Ramirez with his 13th first-inning home run as the Tribe on top 2-0. second inning. And Mark Trumbo will lead off for Baltimore. Jose Ramirez staking the Indians to an early 2-0 lead. Trumbo's been on a pretty good roll since the All-Star break. He's batted .298 with 5 homers, 16 runs batted in. One ball, one strike.
Carlos has had a very good breaking ball recently, ever since coming off that disabled list. After he got hit in the elbow, he's been lights out. Just a nasty little slider that's so sharp, and I'll tell you, when he can control that pitch, it's going to be a rough day on right-handed hitter. Because, man, I got to tell you, the Baltimore Orioles have been swinging the bat since the All-Star break as a team, even though they've traded a lot of their players.
Fouled right back on the high fastball.
You know, as a team, their batting average .286. They have 239 hits in their 24 games, which is 5th in the majors, and they've hit 41 home runs since the break. That's 2nd in the majors and AL. But it's pitching that the Indians have been dealing. They've been unbelievable in the month of August.
Just a bit outside, maybe a ball width or more.
That was a little teaser, I think, for the fastball, hoping it had a little comeback to it. It's just off the edge. You may see him now start that slider right where that pitch was and get it to break off the outside corner.
Right at Lindor.
Get it there. Look at that. Just a little flip, one hopper.
One down. Let's take a look at our stat of the game, brought to you by Buick. American League run support average. 2 of the tops on the list, Kluber and Carrasco.
And Kluber has 15 wins, Carrasco has 14. And when you're a good pitcher and you get runs, you win. You know, the only time that Carrasco didn't win, he left trailing Minnesota 3-0. That was the only loss in his last 7 starts. He had a no decision against Detroit, where he left in a 3-3 tie.
Here is Chris Davis. And the Baltimore slugger trying to get his season back on track.
Maybe a little too late for that. 163 average for him.
In his career with Baltimore, he's played 1,003 games. In those 1,000 games, he's hit 240 homers and has struck out 1,352 times.
Left-handed, bare-handed catch. The level below us. Nice job.
Power numbers really falling off.
And oh my goodness.
Inside out swing.
How about that?
He's not going to go for 2 against Brantley, but he'll be satisfied with a 1-out single.
I want to see what that pitch was and exactly where it was at, or if that was just a mistake. Because away, he usually tries to pull a ball, but he let that ball, he picked it out of the batter's box, it looked like, from that angle. And everybody's over on the other side. It's a slider away. And he just slapped down on it, and it went down the third base line. So it's a single for Davis. He gets the Orioles' first hit.
Renato Nunez.
Let's just swing. Let's see where it hits.
It hit in the batter's box.
In the batter's box, but it was in sort of heading foul territory, so that spin kept it fair.
Nunez has played 20 games with Baltimore. .292 average, 8 doubles and a home run. Center field, Greg Allen. 2 down. Let's go down to Andre.
Well, Carl Willis and Terry Francona would never want the injury that happened to Carlos Carrasco to happen. But Tito kept telling me the last couple of days he feels like he's hit a second wind. As you said a little bit earlier, Arch, his breaking ball looks better. His fastball has more pop. And the other thing that jumps out to everyone else is how consistent he's been over the last 4 years. His strikeouts per 9 innings in 2015 was 10.6. In 2016, 9.2. Last year it was 10.2, and he's right around there again this year. ERA 3.63 in 2015. This year at 3.50. His consistency has blown everyone away over the last 4 years.
No, he commands the baseball. He doesn't walk many. He throws strikes. He's a typical, right out of the mold of a Kluber, Carrasco. And now Bauer, it went off with him this year, throwing strikes, getting ahead of the hitters, expanding zones. Another thing he's been consistent with is the line drives back at him and hitting him. That happens a couple of times. It seems like a year to Carrasco.
Runner at first, 2 down. And the 1-1 pitch is swung out and missed. Tim Beckham suffered through a horrendous injury. He had a groin injury that cost him 2 months this year. The 1-2. Rifle foul on the right side. Beckham came over from Tampa Bay last year at the deadline. And in 50 games with the Orioles, he batted .306, 10 home runs.
To a really great start, if you remember. He was like sizzling hot when he first came over there.
But this year, the injury set him back. But overall, just a .227 average. Just missed low and in. 2-2. Beckham's old team, the Tampa Bay Rays, are out to a 1-0 lead over the Red Sox with 3 in the first inning at Fenway. The Indians will be following Tampa to Fenway Park on Monday. 2-2 pitch. Just got a piece of it.
Yeah, the only 2 teams we have yet to play: Boston Red Sox, Tampa Bay Rays.
It does seem odd to be halfway through August and you still haven't played 2 teams in the league.
Right.
The 2-2 is hit weakly towards. It was hit towards short. Ramirez cut it off, and then Lindor couldn't find the handle.
Well, I think
what happened there.
I think Ramirez decoyed him. I thought Frankie thought he was going to get it, and he tried, but I don't think it got under his glove. I thought Ramirez had time to make this play, and he lets it go. No, he just flat out missed it, is what happened. And then when it does, it handcuffs Frankie because he thought Jose was going to have it. See, he was just going there to back him up.
Ball just looked like it fooled him.
Yeah, it did. They'll give him a hit, but that's a play that I think Jose should have made. Look at, he's talking to himself right now about it.
Well, 2 on and 2 out for Joey Rickard. front of it, strike one.
Okay.
Well, now they've changed it to an error.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That'll be the 7th error charged to Jose Ramirez on the year. In the dirt, nice backhanded pick by Gomes.
He picked that like he knew he already had it in the glove.
Boy, speaking of first inning fireworks, how about Toronto? They put up 4 in the first in Yankee Stadium against New York.
Yeah. Blue Jays have Stroman on the mound.
2-1 pitch. Up and away. 3 balls and a strike. That was Lance Lynn starting that game for New York. Here it's 2-0 Cleveland, but Carlos Carrasco trying to get out of a 2-on, 2-out jam. It's drilled to left. Brantley makes the catch. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Cleveland 2, Baltimore nothing.
Park app, access and manage your tickets, enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today.
Friday night crowd settling in. Caleb Joseph, or excuse me, Melky Cabrera taking a strike from David Hess. And that's up high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Melky, a 4-game hitting streak, has gone 8 for 16.
He's hitting .311 since coming back in 20 starts, so he's that bat's starting to warm up. The milkman has been delivering.
And Melky scorches one up the gut. Beckham knocks it down, and he recovers in time to get him for out number 1. Let's check in with Gabriela Cruz.
Thanks, guys. Well, we want everybody here on August 18th to join us in celebrating a Tribe legend and Baseball Hall of Famer Jim Thome. We'll have pregame festivities here in the district, including a Thome Hall of Fame celebration and the biggie, this jersey presented by Car Parts Warehouse. So be sure to get your tickets on Indians.com. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thank you. One out, Jason Kipnis stands in and takes a pitch outside for ball one. Going to be a great weekend here at the ballpark. Unfortunately, it's a brief homestand. It's just 3 games.
3 and out.
To first, scooped by Davis. 2 down. The weather looks like it's going to be great for tomorrow and Sunday. Tonight was really the only kind of looked iffy, but boy, it's been so far so good.
Let's knock on wood and keep it here.
4 o'clock start tomorrow. Big Jim Thome celebration before the ball game. We'll have it covered for you if you can't make it down. But it'd be great to see the stands packed for tomorrow night, and then a Sunday series finale as the Indians will then head out on the road for 3 in Boston and then 4 in Kansas City.
You don't think Jimmy's getting a little worn down, do you? A couple
No.
of weeks ago it was the Hall of Fame. Last weekend it was Minnesota. This weekend
Chicago.
Chicago. Tomorrow will be here, and then the next week it'll be Minnesota.
Yeah, and I tell you that in all sincerity because I was with him earlier today, and when he stops by here, what, in the 4th inning, you won't know.
Yeah,
you won't
He's
know
been
that
on a cloud.
You won't know that he just didn't find out yesterday that he was elected to the Hall of Fame. He's just, and it's no surprise. You know, that's Jim. The humility is always right there, and he's just soaking it all in. 1-2 pitch. Yan Gomes, kind of a check swing, and the side is retired. 2 complete. The Indians 2, the Orioles nothing. Early 2-0 lead, and we're joined now by former Tribe skipper Mike Hargrove, who I've learned one thing over the years: never to assume anything with you.
But how do you figure that?
I'm going to go way out on that limb and say it must have been a privilege and an honor to manage Jim Thome.
It was a privilege. That really was. Man. It was. You know, it really was. And you know, with Jimmy, it was. You know, what you saw is what you got. You know, there were no hidden agendas. There was nothing going, you know, on behind scenes. It was Jimmy showed up with a good heart and continued to have a good heart his whole career. And I think you can tell that by the comments his teammates have made about him from here, the White Sox,
anywhere he's played.
You know, 15 other clubs he played for, but they all love Jimmy, and rightfully so.
Were you guys together in the minor leagues?
No.
You missed it.
Yeah, I missed him.
Okay.
Charlie and Jimmy were together in the minor leagues.
Okay. That's right. 91, you were here. Right?
I was.
Coach at
90
first.
and 91.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Jimmy was drafted in 1989, and well, let's see. Yeah, 89.
Well, I know we called him up when I was managing.
Right.
And it must have been, after I took over at the All-Star break in 91, and Jimmy came up as a gangly, kid that could hit the ball a long way even then, and a third baseman, and good hands, good feet, good athlete. Jimmy's biggest problem is that he was really inconsistent with his accuracy. And, so me and Ronnie Clark spent hours and hours and hours, and Buddy Bell with Jimmy, trying to make, find some accuracy with his throws. And we decided finally when we got, I think we got Matt Williams.
Yeah.
We decided to move Jimmy to first base, which was,
not too shabby.
No, it was a good choice to make. It was.
Trying to bunt is Cedric Mullins, but it goes foul.
Well, he just looks like a first baseman. Big, burly guy like in the old days. You go up there that could hit the ball a country mile.
Yeah, you expect, every time I looked at him, he reminded me of Paul Bunyan. Kind of, forearms that looked like, big oak limbs. And, Jimmy was good. I mean, he was good. For a long time, he was good.
And the thing of it is that he was up and he was sent back down to the minor leagues.
Yeah,
and when he first came up, this is a lineup where he was sitting, what, 8th, 7th, 8th?
I've got 2 working lineups. The lineups, the big cards they put on the back of the dugout. I've got 2 working lineups in consecutive days. And one has Ramirez hitting 8 and Thome hitting 9. And the next day has Thome hitting 8 and Ramirez hitting 9.
You flip-flopped them.
Yeah.
How about that?
Oh, smart.
Think about it. There was over 1,100 home runs between those guys. Way to put them back in that double cleanup spot.
Hey, you got to know your personnel.
Yes, you did.
Fly ball to left. Michael Brantley is there. And there are 2 down. Did it take you long, watching him as a young player to realize this was going to be a guy that you'd bat in the middle of the lineup?
No, it didn't take long. He swung the bat. He had a good eye at the plate. That's the first thing I noticed, that he was real patient at the plate. He made pitchers. Well, yeah, but he had a little bit more power.
Well, but I'm saying he wouldn't swing at pitches out of the zone.
No.
He'd take his walks.
That's right. He was willing to take his walks, and if the pitcher missed just a little bit, Jimmy made him pay dearly. So that was real obvious early on. The fact that he hit the ball so far the opposite way was a pretty good indication of the kid's strength. As he becomes more experienced, he learns more and more, what to pull and when to pull it. So it was obvious early on Jimmy could swing the bat, and I don't think that any of us thought, the first 2 or 3 years that Jimmy was, in the league. And I'm talking when he was young, really young, that he would be a Hall of Fame player. But all of a sudden he
just kept
started putting the numbers up, and they stayed there. They didn't really ever have a down year. And he was just awfully good for a long. He made me a real smart manager.
Can you stick around?
Yeah.
We'll continue with Mike Hargrove. 2-0 Cleveland, middle of the 3rd.
all the way from Illinois, and you brought the whole family. How long of a trip was that?
9 hours.
Two 2-0 Indians on top as we go to the bottom of the third. It'll be Greg Allen, Frankie Lindor, Michael Brantley for the Indians. We're visiting with Mike Hargrove, former Tribe skipper, and of course he managed Jim Thome at the outset of his Hall of Fame career. When I ran into you in Cooperstown, I think I said to you, has it sunk in that you managed? He's not the only guy you managed that is in the Hall of Fame, but you managed him from the get-go to the Hall of Fame.
You know, I don't know that it sunk in. You know, by the time the weekend was over, I mean that was Cooperstown's a special place anyway. That's, you know, you walk into the museum, and it's like walking into church. I mean, it really, for me, it is. And so, you know, that was special. But by the time the speeches were given and you saw that, you know, the old Hall of Famers, I see old Hall of Famers, you know, 57 or so many Hall of Famers were there. And you realize that you know, a player that you managed is in that company. And you look at his numbers, and he's not there by accident.
Right.
You know, he's there because he was that good. And to realize that you had a little bit of something to do in pointing in the right direction. He had the talent from the get-go to be in the Hall of Fame. You know, nothing I did was going to get him there, you know, any more than what he did himself. But you know, young players do need direction. They do need to learn how to compete. They learn all those things. And if I had just a little bit to do with that, and I feel very good about that. I told Jimmy, and I saw him after he was inducted, I said, you know, I appreciate you letting me just tag along.
Yeah.
You know, that's, you know,
well, you know, that was an era, that team. That may not be the only one that's inducted into the Hall of Fame. There may be a couple others from that team.
Well, there may be, and there should be, you know, probably a few more. You know, Manny, I think Manny Ramirez should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, for a hitter, yeah, absolutely.
You know, get there, I don't know, but you know, we're talking about putting Roger Clemens in and Bonds in and these people, and I'm gonna tell you what, Manny in his own way was as good or better than those guys. So, you know, I hope he gets in. I really do.
Kenny Lofton, I mean,
well, there's a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame. It's a shame that he's not.
Well, he didn't. He made the ballot one year.
Time. Yeah, one year.
What's that tell you about the people that vote for it?
Well,
Albert Bell is borderline Hall of Fame with his numbers
well,
too.
I'm going to tell you what. You compare Kirby Puckett's numbers to Albert's numbers. They both played 13 years. The only difference is Kirby played on a World Series winning team. Excuse me, but their numbers are very, very similar.
Yes,
and Albert's are better in some respects. But you know,
and one was a media darling, and the other one was not.
Was not. Yeah.
Well, you know, maybe down the road, a la Jack Morris, Alan Trammell, maybe they'll have their day.
Well, you know, that's the Veterans Committee, and you hope that they lend a sympathetic ear toward that, because Kenny's for me, and I talked to a Hall of Fame voter the other day, and I won't tell you who it is, but he's even upset that Kenny hadn't gotten into the Hall of Fame. Kenny deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, baby. Lindor grounds into a double play. I want to ask you this before the inning runs out. Everyone, when you think of Jim Thome, those who knew him, talk about how humble he was, how nice and genuinely kind he was.
Still is.
But not everybody saw, and you had an up front first row seat to when he dug his back foot in the box. He could be as tough a competitor as anybody in the game, huh?
Remember the bat flip over toward Atlanta's bench in the series?
Yes, sir.
You know, that was out of character. But, you know, Jimmy was pissed. and he hit that ball the wrong way, too. I still see that thing where it landed. But, so, yeah, he had his moments. I mean, he was a competitor. I mean, you don't play 22 years in the big leagues and do what he did without being a competitor. And as you know, Rick, you play along. If you lose that edge, you lose just a little bit of that competitive edge, you're done. I mean, you really are done. You're not going to get it back. And usually that's when you see, you know, older players, all of a sudden they start declining just out of the blue. You think, what happened? Well, for me, they lost that competitive edge. I know that's what happened with me and a lot of guys. And when
physically,
you do that,
you lose your tools.
Right, you do. So, you know, Jimmy never did. So, yeah, an intense competitor. We always had a smile on his face.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell one story real quick if I can.
Go ahead.
We're playing against the Blue Jays, and Jack Morris is on the mound, and it was a hot day, and Jack was. We needed innings out of Jack because we used our bullpen a lot. Jimmy's playing third base. We had a 4-0 lead going into the 8th inning. Jimmy makes 3 errors in the inning.
Oh.
So the tying runs on third base, and I think it was Joe Carter's on third base. The tying run with 2 outs, and Jack's starting to yell, starting to give those dirty looks towards the umpire, and I'm thinking, oh no, I better get out there. And I walk out there and I say, Jack, settle down. We need you to get some innings for us now. Just settle down, get this guy out. We're going to win this game. We're going to win this game. We're going to win it 4-3. You watch. Just get this guy out. And I thought, I'm out here. And there were 40,000 people in the stands that night, or that day. And I thought, I'd call Jimmy in. He's a young player. Maybe, give him a little boost. Give him a little bit of a boost to, to relax and everything's okay. And Jimmy comes in and I said, Jimmy, just relax. It's no problem. I don't want you feeling tied up about that. He looks at me and says, oh, Mike, I'm okay. Nothing wrong with me. And I'm thinking there's 40,000 people plus 25 guys on the bench that want to strangle you right now. Don't tell me you're okay. But that was Jimmy. Jimmy, he looked for the next shot.
Taking a little time here, that foul ball went right beyond the dugout, right where the netting ends.
Yes, it did.
And I think a spectator, they're attending to the spectator who was trying to get out of the way. Slow hook in for a strike.
I thought you were going to tell me the story there when he was on the tag play when you got ejected.
Oh, no. I couldn't use that one. I couldn't do that one.
That's the one I thought was coming out.
I couldn't do that one.
I didn't think so.
The PG version?
Yeah,
there is no PG.
No,
there is no
good.
PG.
No, we discussed that earlier.
You can't tell that story without using the original language, and it loses its punch.
Down in the dirt.
But it's a good one.
It's a very good one.
Speaking of a good one, have you admired the season that Jose Ramirez has had at this point?
It's amazing, isn't it? It really is. He doesn't say anything. At least when I've been around, he hasn't said much. In spring training, I was out shagging balls. The last day I was there, I was leaving to go back to Tucson as soon as BP was over, and I was out in center field, maybe 10 foot away from Jose, and they were doing base hit round.
Yeah.
So they're almost done, and you couldn't see on that field. Ball hit, you'd hope you'd wait for somebody to say, hey, look out, or it's going this way. And so I turned around, there's a ball on the track, and I turned around to go get the ball on the track, and I heard this crack. And you can tell when a ball's good. This ball was smoked. So I turned around and started walking, that ball hit, and I thought, okay, and all of a sudden I hear Jose go, this tone of voice, look out. Not any louder than that. Look out. Not heads up, duck, holy cow, move, you're
four.
And the ball hit me right in the back of the head, bounced about 30 foot up in the air. And I can tell you don't see stars, but you see little bars and circles. Oh man, it smoked me. Anyway, so he doesn't say, he's the guy that came up and was tagged as the utility guy.
Right.
And look what he's done, and keeps doing it.
Now Yandi Diaz, who singled his first time up, all he's done is gone 12 for 22 since he got called up.
Well, he's going to get, I would think, the bulk of the at-bats now that Encarnacion is on the disabled list. So, and we don't play any more National League teams, so we don't have to worry about the pitchers hitting.
Yeah. 2-0 pitch. And that's low. 3-0. Boy, David Hess is working himself into all sorts of trouble.
I bet Diaz, if he keeps hitting 45, then he'll probably still get a chance to play.
Real quick, and a yes or no answer. Do you wish the DH was throughout all of baseball, National and American League?
I do.
Okay.
Just for the simple reason that American League clubs were built for the DH and not for the National League game.
That's what I thought. Just wanted to check. I know there's 2 outs, so I didn't want to get into it.
I know.
So he had 2 outs and nobody on base. A walk, a hit batter, another walk. Pitching coach coming out. And now Yonder Alonso coming to the plate. With a guy like Yandi Diaz, Mike, and I can't think back quickly in your managing experience. You've got a guy who can hit, But where do you, he doesn't really have a position right now. He's playing third, but we've got an all-world third baseman there. So that's a tough thing to work through as an organization then, isn't it?
Well, it is. You know, we ran into that with Brian Giles and with Sean Casey. You know, and
Sexton too sometimes.
And Richie Sexton. Yeah, he ended up trading them all.
Right.
Because we had a need at the time we traded them, and hated like crazy to trade those kind of bats. But you know, where was Brian going to play? Where was Sean Casey going to play in front of Jim
You
Thome?
got Lofton, Bell, and Ramirez out there.
So it was just one of those things. But the old saying in baseball, you know, if you hit, they'll find a place where you play, and that's it. Either will be with this ball club or will be some other ball club. And you know, players are drafted and signed and developed for two reasons. One to either help the big league club yourself that you're with, or to be traded and help the ball club, help your big league club.
Get a piece that you need.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, let's see what Alonso can do here with the bases loaded and 2 down.
Well, with the Indians, you don't want to give up free base runners because these guys they've been tremendous all year long with bases loaded. He walked 2 and hit 1.
Alonso this year has gone 4 for 15 with the bases loaded. A couple of grand slams.
Just 2?
There for a while, we haven't checked in a while, but there for a while the Indians were right there among the best in the majors with 8 as a team grand slams. I think Cincinnati had 9.
Yeah, Cincinnati, Boston have 9. Cleveland has 8.
So it's still there. We're still at the same numbers.
Yes, we are.
So we have a chance to catch him.
Yes, we do. And I'd like to catch him come next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday when we're there.
The 3-day homestands are kind of a blip in there.
This is the 4th one.
Good time.
But after this one, we'll have 2 more homestands, and both of them should be around 9 or 10 days. So, you know how it goes. 81 home, 81 road.
That's right.
Sometimes it doesn't feel like it.
Missed again. 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah. You know, when you look at it, look, he's throwing more balls than strikes at 50. When you're a guy and pitching at the big leagues and you're going to pitch around people, you better be able to throw your secondary pitches for strikes or you're going to get nailed. So he's trying to weave his way through this inning, and one more base hit here, and this could open it up.
The 2-1. And a low fastball right at the bottom of the zone. Evens the count.
All right. Good pitch.
I never could understand pitchers out there struggle like a duck in a desert. Just can't find anything. He's not even close to the plate. Then he throws one on the corner that could be a little outside, and the umpire says strike. How can you give him that pitch? He hasn't been within 1.5 feet of the plate. Hold it back.
Well, at least Alonso didn't swing at it because it was borderline.
Outside, full count.
Uh-oh. There you go now. 3-1. 3-2. Come to Papa.
Unfortunately for Buck Showalter, he's seen a whole lot of this all season long.
You almost said a bad word, didn't you, man?
The runners will be off. The 3-2 is swung out and missed. He got out of it. Grover, thanks for stopping by.
It's been my pleasure. I always enjoy seeing you guys.
Mike Hargrove with us. We're going to speak with Jim Thome coming up next.
Y'all are the best.
2-0 our score. 4th inning. Jim Thome settling in here with us. And Carlos Carrasco goes back to work. He's only given up 1 hit. He has struck out 4 on the night. And he's got Trey Mancini, Mark Trumbo, and Chris Davis due up for the Birds here in inning number 4.
What are you looking for, your phone? I'm good. You're always good.
Jim, welcome in.
Thanks, guys.
How's things going?
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. How can it not be?
I told Arch, he said, I bet Jim might be getting a little tired, a little worn down from all this whirlwind, Cooperstown, Chicago, now Cleveland. I told him,
it's been
you're
incredible.
still riding high, aren't you?
No, it's been incredible, and it's been so great to come back and see the people you care about, and you know, like just really thank them for the part that they've played in your career and have been just a big integral part of everything. It's been very special. You know, we can sleep when it's all over with. It's all good.
You're
you
right.
know, it's special.
Oh, he enjoyed it last week when you were in Chicago and throwing out the first pitch. Your son was throwing it out, and what's he do? Pull out a pen and signs the ball to
I don't know
you.
where
That
he got
was
that.
awesome.
He's watched too much baseball is what's happened. He knows he knows what's going on. It was really a nice moment.
It shocked you, didn't it?
It did, and you know, it goes to show you that no matter the age, they watch everything, and it's pretty special. So they brought out the Polaris, you know, Ranger. And he asked me, because in spring training he always wants to drive the golf cart.
Oh yeah.
And I'm real cautious. I let him drive where it's not a lot of people. So they pulled that out the other night, and he goes, "Dad, is that my new car?"
And I'm sure it's got his name on it.
I said, "Well, probably, to be honest."
It'll be out on the farm, man.
Yes,
It'll be out riding
yes.
around. Oh, that's great.
All right, what was there a best moment for you at Cooperstown, or was there something that you'll always remember about the weekend, something specific that?
There were so many moments.
Yeah.
You know, the porch, you know, like from Thursday to Sunday, here all these Hall of Famers are walking out, and you don't ever want to leave.
Yeah.
You know, it's
like a dream.
It's like a dream, man. And this beautiful lake at the Otasaga, you look out, and here's Johnny Bench, and here's Ozzie Smith, and Dave Winfield comes in, Eddie Murray comes in, and you know, then all of a sudden Hank Aaron shows up, and it's you know, like everything kind of just stops. But I mean, the induction was incredible. Lila singing, our interview about Mom that you and I did, the parade was incredible, and for me, seeing my family and friends, you know, people from Peoria, from Cleveland, from Philly to Minnesota to Chicago, it was almost like that could have went on for a month, and every day would have been special.
Can you share with us, is there a good story? You were about to start telling me earlier today, Johnny Bench sits you down on the porch, says, all right, this is what it means to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you sit in the rocking chair, and he's over your shoulder, and it's a very special moment. You know, he talked about just, you know, what it means to be a Hall of Famer, and you know, I mean, it's Johnny Bench, and what a great ambassador, you know, to us young guys coming in and just letting us know, you know, welcome to our family. It meant so much. The dinner, you know, sitting around, and the induction's over, and that night there's a special dinner they do, and you sit around and just, it's what it's all about.
How was it going in with 6 guys?
You know what? And the guys I went in with, look at them. Look at them all. They're all class acts. They all had great careers. All of them, you know, Jack was a teammate.
Right.
You know, Alan Trammell, I think, was the most respected guy in his time.
Oh yeah.
Played against
you know, Vladdy would hit a ball that bounced. I mean, Chipper, the iconic name of Chipper Jones, and then that left and right-handed swing, the switch hitter he was in Trevor's changeup. You know, it was really a fun group to go with, and And I'm proud to have them as part of the group that I went in with, because they're all special.
And don't forget Vlad, because that guy could hit a little bit.
Well, like I said, he'd hit a ball that would bounce,
one.
and then he would hit it out of the park.
Runner at second, 2 down. Renato Nunez at the plate. Carrasco misses just off the plate. So many special moments for you right here in this ballpark. I mean, you broke in the old stadium, but this is where dreams came true for not only you guys, but all the fans that came and packed it every night.
You know, the 90s, I mean, it was pure magic, and to be a part of it, and you know, like the fans truly, I think, elevated our game. I mean, look at the sign.
The sellout, right.
Look at the sellout sign and how special. I think as players, we just want them to know what it meant to us to have them here all the time. And then it got to a point where, you know, once the 9th inning would hit, you'd see early on, you'd see some fans start to leave. Well, that ended quick.
Yeah.
That ended quick because of what we were able to accomplish by our comebacks and the excitement that the fans built, which then electrified us to maybe to do those special things for them.
Yeah, because you moved into this ballpark and they took off right away.
Incredible.
Yeah, it really
was incredible, and we were all part of it.
Yeah,
you know, we all.
That's what we'll talk about it in the next half, because 2 outs. I don't like to bring anything up with 2 outs or 2 strikes.
I hear you. You're a veteran.
I think he's got this one. Maybe. Let's see. No, we're going to have a little more time here. Well, you guys, for a lot of people, you guys started the walk-off mobbings that we see, where guys are getting punched,
beating,
drilled, and dumped baby powder, Gatorade.
Yes.
You guys kind of started all that. How did that? Do you remember how that even really started?
I don't know who was the first guy, but the next thing, I mean, I remember getting beat at home plate, and then I also did some beating myself.
Sure.
But it got to be fun. It got to be like you never wanted to hurt anybody. But it would get a little violent in there, you know.
You'd come out of there with a bruise or two.
No, you would. But it's okay. You just won a ball game.
That's right.
That's what it's about.
Same ball, same exact spot.
Yes, it is. The same person might catch it. Yeah, I think we won 18 consecutive home games here at one time, and the walk-offs were just. I used to have people tell me, you might be the only team we see. You're down 2 to 3 runs in the 8th inning, and you've got your closer warming up, going out for the 9th.
Here we go.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Look at you running.
Yeah. They beat you down. It was like, I'm going to get out of here.
Quick exit.
What was your guys' best walk-off like for what you guys did? What did you get?
Oh, man.
Albert?
Lee
Smith.
The Lee Smith.
Yes.
I mean, that was just one because that's Lee Smith.
Yeah.
That's not just some Joe out there. And that's when, at the time, the Angels were still leading the West, and we were looking at it as this is a playoff preview. And we just stomped their closer to end the game.
Well, how about Troy Percival? Speaking of closers,
we got him 3 times
in one night.
I
That's
know.
right. You, Sandy, and who else was it?
Well, me, Sandy, and I think it was it Giles?
I don't know.
The night that we did it here was the night they threw at Justice, wasn't it? Didn't we tie the game and then Justice charged David? Did he charge the mound?
They're starting to run together now. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember things yesterday, let alone. But I know what I hit in certain pitches 20 years ago.
Right. Yeah,
no, the point is even for you guys, it had to be special. Manny's home run off Eckersley.
Right, the wild.
Right.
But I mean, it just kept coming. I mean, it didn't stop, and that's how this ballpark, originated. It was like just the best teams. I'll still never forget about it. We might be able to talk about it. Playing against Baltimore, September '95, the catch over here.
Yes.
And we're in the playoffs, and it's the first time in 41 years you make it.
Yeah, it was.
How special was that?
Really special. That was something.
You don't have that ball, do you? Or do the Indians have it here? The one that went into the glove.
You know, I don't. It might be. It's either in their archives or mine.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Here we go. Like it was yesterday.
Yes, indeed. That, I mean, for me was special because you heard about the Indians and how good they were for years and years, but And you were clinching on September, what was it, 8th or 9th?
Yes.
Clinching.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it really is.
Tim Beckham, the batter, with 2 on and 2 out. Indians up 2-0. We're in the 4th. Talking with Hall of Famer Jim Thome, and Beckham with a line drive single in the left. They're going to stop Trumbo at 3rd, and now Baltimore has loaded the bases. You know, I do remember, since you asked, I do remember vividly, I was on radio when you hit the home run. You went left central to you broke Albert's record to become the single season home run. That was number 51. He had hit 50 in 95, and you broke that record with a moonshot. I think it hit the side of the bleachers, maybe.
It was over here, yeah.
That one only went about 480.
Well, and then the one we talked about the next day.
The 52.
The 52 was the one I hit out here, and the 2 ladies that caught the ball were so excited. And the meeting those 2 ladies was so special that next day.
They were just grateful to give the ball back to you,
They were just
right?
grateful, and you know, the process as I got to like 450 to about 600, well, to 612, there were so many cool moments meeting fans. I remember tying Mantle in Boston and meeting those. I was with the Twins, I do believe, and they came down and we talked, and it was just the interaction from about 450 to 600 was just so cool with fans. And they got jerseys, they got bats, they got balls, tickets. All those organizations, you know, including here when I came back, were very generous to the fans, and it was a fun process.
Now, have you put a sports room up anywhere yet? I mean, and really started
you know, I don't display. I've got a few of my items, but one day I'll give that to the kids.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, I've donated some stuff to the Hall of Fame, the 500-600 ball, because I feel like it should be there. You know, it's what the museum is. It's when kids come. You know, like at the end of the day, like, yeah, it could go in my office and it would be great, but to be in the Hall of Fame and let people see it, that's special. But I mean, playing a long time, you accumulate some really cool, fun things and items that, you know, that I'll pass down to my kids.
Well, it's like I said to you today. You want those things in the Hall of Fame so that somewhere down the road, the next Jim Thome comes along and sees that, and that inspires him to go out in the backyard and swing the bat and put the work in that you put in, so that maybe someday he could have that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And being around youth baseball right now with my son, and you know, it's what the game's really all about. It brings back a lot of memories, like Buddy Bell. Buddy,
right,
a couple years ago came out and watched my son Landon, and you know, I'm his dad. I don't know how I played. I didn't see how I played. You just do it. And Buddy said, "Man, Jim, it's great to watch your son, because he's got all your mannerisms." And Buddy knows, because Buddy's so smart at baseball, and we work so much together. That was a great, like, that
and
felt
you wore
great.
the same number.
Yeah,
25.
Yes.
We're going to continue with Jim Thome, Hall of Famer. Cookie Carrasco gets out of a bases loaded jam. It's 2-0 Cleveland, middle of the 4th. of the fourth. We're going to jump you back to Chicago. In case you missed it last week, this is Jim's daughter Lila singing the national anthem. She nailed it. And then I think we've got the first pitch coming up. Here we go.
Yeah, I love this. Watch,
He
right
goes
into the pot.
pen.
And he had the blue pen, and he's ready to go. There you go, Pops.
Oh, he's the best. He is an absolute little angel. They both are. They both are. And, you know, well, I'll tell you a great story is Hammy. I went and seen Hammy after that, and Hammy said to me, he goes, Jim, did you see what Landon did after Lila sang the national anthem? I said, no. He goes, he went over and gave her a big hug. He said, what a cool moment to see your son go over and give your daughter, his sister, a big hug. It was great.
Popped up on the infield by Melky Cabrera. One down. It's going to bring up Jason Kipnis. Well, you know, you go through this process, and we talked about this before. Nobody says, I want to play baseball because I want to be in the Hall of Fame. That's just sort of an unbelievable honor that comes after it's all said and done. So have you thought about, like, once this whirlwind sort of Jim Thome tour is over, how do you settle in? How do you go, what's normal after this?
Boy, I mean, I love routine. I love, you know, my life now. I love being at home. We talked about that, you know, like I'm blessed to work for the network, MLB Network, for 4 or 5 days a month, and then being around the White Sox. Jerry, Mr. Reinsdorf, you know, hired me 4 or 5 years ago to come aboard. But I get my baseball fix, but I also like taking my wife to dinner on Friday and Saturday nights, and, you know, being able to take Landon and throw him BP when he has a game, and Lila's theater stuff, watching all the great things she's doing. Routine is very nice, but to get back to normal, that's kind of what I really look forward to.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because I read where Jerry Reinsdorf said at one time he thinks you could be a manager one day. Is that something that you think about down the road?
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever want to say never. I mean, the game will take you to many areas that sometimes will be presented to you, and you've got to make decisions in this game. I'm not out searching or looking, or if somebody feels that I'm qualified, I think you'd have to seriously listen to it for sure. But I also think, as we talked with like a speech, as you talk with being a hitter in the big leagues for a long time, there is preparation that comes with that, and that preparation is putting yourself in that position from many different, you know, situations, working for the network, being involved now with sabermetrics and the analytics in the front office, you know, but what you can't replace is doing what all these great guys, the two guys here that are great, is the experience on the field.
Right.
You know, and you'd have to have really good, whether a bench coach or pitching coach, that would have to help you.
Not an easy gig.
It's
Absolutely.
not. It's not. And I really respect what the great ones do, because they are outstanding at what they do.
But the thing of it is, now you're getting guys that are inheriting good teams that never used to happen, like Booney in New York, you know, like Martinez in Washington. And, you know, now it's a little different.
It is. And I think with Booney, his job with ESPN, you know, and the fact that Booney is really good with people, and he's very charismatic, and he knows how to deal with people, I think, and he's got great coaches around him, and great players.
Right.
That lineup would be a fun lineup to write those names down. So, to answer your guys' question, look, I love baseball. I don't ever want to say never, but we'll let all that play itself out.
And it will, once your kids grow up.
Sure, absolutely. You only get them once. You know, when they go out and they move on, there's plenty of time for that stuff.
You're absolutely right.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Bases empty here in the 4th inning. And a line drive single.
Nice hitting
by Yan Gomes. Charlie Manuel's on the pregame show today, and we're listening to Charlie. I could sit just in the corner of the room and listen to Charlie, and especially if you were on the other end, I could listen to you guys just talk hitting and how you break it down.
Yeah.
And the littlest things, the opening of the hips, the placement of the feet on top of the plate, everything. Man, you talk about a passionate human being. Is there anybody more passionate about hitting than Charlie?
Me. And I learned from him. And there's many great baseball men that love baseball and hitting. I don't know if there's any more than him, because this guy, the way he is and the way he talks it is exactly why I feel we were as successful as we were. Now, we had talent. We had guys that loved to work. But you have to have somebody that when you go in the clubhouse, you're willing to grab them and say, come on, let's go hit, or and there's that, I call it the walk to the cage. You've got to want to take that walk every day with that guy, and he was that guy for all of us.
Well, thanks for stopping by.
You guys
Congratulations and best wishes to you.
Thank you, pal.
Yeah. Well earned. Hall of Famer Jim Thome. It's 2-0 Tribe through 4. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by the 2019 Kia Sorento, the perfect getaway vehicle. Visit KiaDealers.com to learn more. By Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. And by your Chevy Network dealers. Visit ClickChevy.com. Chevrolet, find new roads. Two nothing. Indians on top, 5th inning of action. Caleb Joseph will lead off for Baltimore, and Carrasco's pitch is outside, ball 1. You know, you and I have been around some of the game's all-time greats. We've been around Hall of Famers. We've been around guys who aren't Hall of Famers but have spent a ton of time in the game and are highly respected, revered. And you and I both know the difference between what we just saw right there, genuine enthusiasm, and people who turn it on when they have to. I have never once ever seen Jim Thome just turn it on for somebody. Hey, Jim, would you meet so-and-so? That's just, you get Jim Thome all the time. Now, that's not to say he doesn't have a bad day or that he doesn't get tired or cranky like the rest of us. But, man, I tell you, you don't meet many better people.
Genuine.
That are like Jim Thome.
I mean, that's why, you know, going up to it, how many times have we talked to people, you know, about him. it all comes back. He's a real person. He's a nice guy. They love him. He's, you know, that's him, period. There's nothing else you have to say. If you meet him, if you've ever met him, you know what we're talking about. If you haven't, one of the nicest guys you will ever meet.
Lindor throws out Mullins, and one of the things he said to me today that I thought kind of crystallizes it all is that, you know, you and I were around him from the get-go, so you met Chuck Thome and Joyce and how wonderful they were as parents. But Jimmy said, you know, they never sat down and said, all right, Jim, this is how you treat people. Here's how you act. He said, we never had those conversations. I just watched.
Yeah.
And, you know, they gave him great examples, and he just watched how they treated people. And what a great job they did raising him. And I'm sure he'll do the same with his wife Andrea and their kids.
Well, when he got ready to leave and talked about Charlie, which we'll have on tomorrow night. You know, I remember when Charlie was the hitting coach here, we'd go into those cages. I'd watch those guys all day long. They'd be here, they'd hit every day. They'd hit early. And if you walked in there and it didn't matter who you were, you're going in there to hit.
Fly ball to center. Cookie mows him down here in the 5th. 1, 2, 3. We're halfway through. 2-0 Cleveland. Stick around later in the game for our Miller Lite Hold True moment. We go to the bottom of the 5th. A 2-run first inning homer by Jose Ramirez. That has been it tonight. Carlos Carrasco has made it stand up with 5 shutout innings of work. But I'm sure he wouldn't mind a little extra.
Well, David Hess is, you know, he settled in. I mean, he walked the tightrope in the 3rd inning and was able to get out of it after he had 2 out, nobody on. He walked, he hit, and walked another batter, bases loaded, but he made the pitch to Alonso to get out of a 3-2 jam, and he's been able to put a 0 on the board. But now going through the 3rd time, let's see what happens. The Indians with 4 hits.
Lindor fouls one off. Full count.
He went breaking ball to Alonso on a full count. See what he chooses to throw here. He's got it like in a split grip, and he changed it.
And a ground ball up the middle. Backhanded by Villar. And he got him. What a play. No, they called him safe.
Well, they may check that. They'll wait and see, but it looked like from the naked eye that he might have had him. I don't know.
Unless Davis maybe was juggling it.
Well, Villar made a beautiful play. I didn't think he was going to get there. It was going to go under his glove, but once he makes a catch, he knows he's got to get rid of it quickly. He gets the throw, and you know Lindor's hustling.
Wow, that was really close, but they're going to challenge it.
Yeah.
Baltimore is going to challenge the play.
I don't blame him. Boy,
I can't call it. Can you?
Well, you know what? Then it's going to be tough to overturn it then because he was called. Oh wait, safe. He was called safe. That's right. I don't know. That was a heck of a play by Villar, and that was awfully close at first base.
Man,
someone in New York's going to make the call. You can't go out on the line and say anything about that one. It was. You talk about the ball reaching the glove the same time the foot hits the bag. The old saying, the tie goes to the runner. We're going to see, because it's the video now that's going to be frame by frame. The tie goes to the frame.
Tie goes to the runner was said first by the runner.
Yeah, why would you got to run that hard? Look, is the ball? Well, that ball's in the glove. I bet they're going to call him out.
No, I don't think there's any way you can overturn that.
Okay. Well, I just took that one, and you disagree. So
I just don't see it. I mean, it's not that clear. I mean,
you could have 10 different people look at it. One's going to call him safe. The other 5 will call him out. There
wow. I'm really surprised that they saw enough there to overturn that.
Well, I went out on a limb.
Okay.
And I know right now Lindor wanted that base hit, but it was as close as you could possibly get. And that was a good challenge by Buck there, because that's the leadoff man aboard. And then right now your pitcher's in hot water at the top of the lineup. So
Michael Brantley has walked twice tonight, scored a run back in the first. Brantley came in with the 9th best batting average in the American League.
He loves to hit in his home ballpark. Michael hitting .335 coming into the night. He's walked twice. .2-0 count now.
And a base hit left center field.
Boy, he has had a good look at a lot of pitches that Hess thrown him tonight. So that 2-0 pitch, he stayed right on it and gets it over the head of the shortstop.
This was the first inning homer hit by Jose Ramirez. It's his 13th of the year. Most ever in a single season by a Cleveland Indians player. And 21 first inning home runs in his career, but 13 of them have come this year. StatCast AI powered by AWS. And Jose Ramirez looks, it's down low. He's tied with JD Martinez now for the league lead. That's the major league lead at that.
Matt, Rick, you guys talk about the home runs in the first inning. How about this? With 41 games left, Jose already has the most first inning RBI of any MLB player since Nolan Arenado had 39 in 2015. Most in AL since Carlos Guillen had 37 in 2007 when he was with Detroit.
Wow. And still a bunch to go. .41 games after tonight. Jose takes a fastball for a strike.
That's what I'm saying. If you're a starting pitcher and you're coming into this house, or even if you're starting on the road, you better make sure you're controlling your strikes or the strike zone in the first inning for this guy, because if you make a mistake, he's ready to jump on it.
I loved what Charlie Manuel said earlier tonight. You and I were listening to that when he was on with Alan Jensen. And you know, by the way he sort of opened his stance a little bit, similar to Jim, he can hit the inside pitch and keep it fair and hit it for a home run. But now that pitch away, that's almost in the middle of his bat.
To the barrel of the bat, yes. But you see, he doesn't drive the ball the other way. He hooks it more. And if he does, he doesn't drive it in the air. You know, he hits line drives. He pretty much, I would think, I would like to see a breakdown of all his home runs, and you're going to see a lot of them out in right field.
Two-two. Shoots it the other way, but that's foul. You think that's a product of being a switch hitter, where you don't have to worry as much about driving it the other way because you're going to bat from both sides of the plate?
It could be, yes. It certainly could. And when you know you've got the inside part of the plate covered because he's awfully quick, you can't throw a fastball by him. Yeah, he's not worried about that pitch away. He wants to get out and reach it, and he lays off of it. It's not like he rolls over and grounds out to second.
True.
He lays off the pitches that are truly away.
Up and away, full count.
Well, I was going to ask, what does that do with the breaking ball since it's coming into him? Does he see it better, Arch? Is that?
It's not that he sees. What? Oh, you mean when he's open?
Right, he's open like
just
that.
Just a little bit, yes. And I mean, but I think that's where he's susceptible, is the breaking ball down and in, like his back foot slider, because we've seen him swing a couple times where he swings and the ball's hit him this year. That's how you can get him out, I would think.
That one's off, but it's ball four.
You see, he took that. That was a pitch that normally he may swing at. He's locked in and seeing it well tonight.
He's been on all three times. The homer, hit by a pitch in the third and walked in the fifth.
This is a really good pitch by Hess, I'm telling you. Wow, that's awfully close to being a strike. And, well, he didn't get the call. I'll tell you what, that's where you want to make that pitch to Ramirez, because if it's out over the plate a little bit more, it may not be coming back. That was a good pitch, but he got the walk.
It looked like a great pitch.
How big's that play now at first base?
Arch,
go ahead.
What size bat did you use, Arch, when you played?
When I was about 35, 33.
Okay.
And then went to 34 and a half, maybe 32 throughout, but it was never a 34.
It's debatable, but Yandi Diaz may have the biggest arms in baseball. He's up there with a 34-inch bat, only 32 ounces.
That's like swinging a toothpick for him.
That's what Tito said, and I'll ask after this pitch. Could that play, as he gets more comfortable, get a heavier bat? Maybe power would come with it, or is his swing just to the point right now where it's not going to do that?
I don't think so. He doesn't elevate the ball. He hits the ball on the line or on the ground more than he hits it in the air. He's got that approach. He's off the plate. He looks away. He pretty much takes it, and he shoots everything to right field, even on the inside pitches. I'd pitch him inside.
Now, Yandi and other hitters are saying that Hess is showing that he slows up when he's throwing off speed. And I know Yandi is one of the guys that Edwin was talking about. Watch when he slows up.
Slowing down his motion?
Yes, his motion slows up on the breaking.
Gotcha. And he's throwing a breaking ball. Well, they'll see that. They'll pick it up.
Oh, they're on it.
See how far up the plate Yandi is?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so he cannot. You don't think he could reach that outside corner, but that's where he likes the balls, on the outside.
Yeah, and even though he starts that far off, he's not a guy that dives.
No, he just waits and he lets the ball track deep to him. He doesn't try to go out and get it. Now, you see, that was a mistake breaking ball for him, and he topped it, fouled it off. That's a pitch that if he was there, he could have lined it into the right center field if his approach was maybe on the plate a little bit more. But no, that's comfort zone. Everybody likes to hit differently. I remember guys used to be off the plate like that. If you're off the plate, you don't like getting pitched inside. If you're on the plate, you don't like getting pitched away.
Got him looking. He went inside.
Corner. Yeah. You see, he's looking for that ball out over the plate.
This guy is a little bit, he's got to be somewhat frustrating is too kind a word to watch for Buck Showalter, because you see ability, but you know, it's almost like he has to get himself into a jam before he makes his best pitches.
Yeah, pitching with guys on base, that's not an easy thing to do. You know, a lot of guys, they crumble under the pressure.
He got a double play that got him out of the first. Double play that short-circuited a rally in the third. Made a good pitch to strike out Alonso with the bases loaded. Now he's got him up here again with 2 on and 2 out in the fifth.
Well, he's mixed in that changeup that I didn't see early when they got that first inning. But that's coming around. He's got the slow curveball just to take you off his other pitches, that little two-seam fastball. And now he's sort of settled in and starting to throw it to some of the edges of the plate.
There's the slow breaking ball, and
drive
he's
you
gonna
nuts.
get out of it again. 2 more stranded through 5, 2-0 Cleveland. Furniture. 200 or more total bases, most consecutive seasons in Orioles history. Cal Ripken Jr., 17 of them. Eddie Murray, 12. Brooks Robinson, a dozen. Adam Jones with 10.
Yeah, Adam Jones has been a good player for the Orioles for a long time. Unfortunately, he's not here. He's on the bereavement list.
Trey Mancini is 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out on the first, grounded out on the fourth. Pop foul.
Send out some birthdays tonight. Betty Pumphrey of Bay Village is turning 100. Very happy birthday to you. Joe Dutch Kovacs of Elyria is 90. Nancy Miller of Las Vegas is celebrating her 73rd.
Dick Winbigler, belated birthday wishes. Turned 67 on August the 10th. That's my fault. I took the letter on the road with us
and forgot.
And I forgot it was in my bag. So
that's okay.
Sorry, Dick.
Happy belated. It's okay, Dick. And Frank and June Anselmo celebrating their 50th anniversary from North Ridgeville. Congratulations. I brought that one out. I put it in my bag, but I pulled it out tonight.
That's a little high. I got one for tomorrow. I taped it up in the locker. It's right there. So.
It's tough. It's hard. People have to be patient because sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. But if we pack them for the road, then it's a crapshoot.
7 out. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trey Mancini leading off the 6th with the Indians leading at 2-0. Cleveland has won 5 in a row, 10 out of 12 to get to 69 and 51 on the year. Lead Minnesota by a dozen games in the division. Oh, just missed. Full count. Minnesota 57 and 63. Twins have won 3 in a row.
Close pitch, but you see Gomes trying to pull it in there, make it look like it was a good portion of the plate.
Chop foul. Twins are at home tonight, hosting the Tigers. They're in the 3rd inning, no score there. For Baltimore, this season, it's like it never began for them. 36 wins for the Orioles. That is the fewest in all of baseball. Grounded right at Lindor. Big hop for the Tribe shortstop. One away.
Start dead batteries with NOCO.
Buck Showalter's club has lost 6 of their last 7, 10 of their last 13. Coming into play tonight. Indians went to Baltimore back in April, fresh off their trip to Puerto Rico, and they won 3 out of 4 from the Orioles. Out of play, and when I say it's a season in Baltimore, it's like a season that never even began. That was April 23rd when the Indians left Baltimore, and after taking 3 of 4, the Orioles were 6-17 already, and they were 12 games out of first on April 23rd.
Well, they've seen some tough years in Baltimore, but you know, under the helm of Buck Showalter, they certainly have, and he's turned it around, and it's really, you know, and you don't know, because will the general manager be back, and will the manager be back, and the coaching staff, if they're going to go in a new direction? Buck says he wants to do it. He's done a nice job in Baltimore.
Strike call. Baltimore didn't win their 10th game of the season until May the 10th, and win number 20 did not come until June 17th. Now the 2-2. Right field. Cabrera just onto the warning track. 2 away. You never want to have to start looking at these lists when your club is having a season like Baltimore is. They're on pace to lose 114,
yeah,
which would put them in company with teams that don't even exist anymore.
Well, that's true. We remember in 03 the Tigers going through that streak with 119 losses.
Yeah.
It's a tough way to play the game. You know, you get to that 100 loss mark, and you've got some work to do.
Well, Mike Hargrove went through it.
Yeah, 105.
The difference being is that I think they already were thinking about, here's how we're going to get better. Whereas Baltimore kind of ran into this thing and got caught in the middle, and now they're in that mode.
Well, and think about it, with the year that they were having, they had a couple of really good baseball players. Machado playing short.
Yeah.
You had Scope at second, and you know, they had their closers, Britton, who's, you know, of course he was hurt this year, didn't really pitch, so his last 2 years he's had some injury deals problem, but they had one of the best bullpens going for a long time.
Chris Davis, a little single toward third base with the shift on. It was an easy hit in the second inning, grounded out in the fourth. He goes down swinging here in the 6th. And that's 6 Ks for Carrasco. The O's go 1-2-3. It's 2-0 Cleveland. And for the Indians, Melky Cabrera, Jason Kipnis, Jan Gomes due up. Melky is 0 for 2 on the night, takes a strike. Action in the Baltimore pen. One and one. So much for those first inning leads by both Tampa Bay and Toronto tonight. As that ball eludes the pitcher, has what a bare hand grab by Villar to retire Cabrera for out number 1.
Second nice play by Villar tonight. And you know what, Davis, you don't know because he's so close to you where the ball's going to be thrown. He just kept the glove at his waist, but he kept it down, and he didn't have to move it very far. Sometimes you can handcuff a first baseman over there, and that's a nice play.
Yeah, Toronto scored 4 in the top of the first at New York. Yankees and Blue Jays now tied 5-5 in the 5th. And at Fenway, it was Tampa scoring 3 in the top of the first against the Red Sox. Boston now leads at 4-3 in the 6th. Neither of those are very surprising, given the nature of both the teams and the ballparks. Fenway, of course. You're always a couple of pitches away from an offensive explosion in that ballpark as Kipnis goes down swinging for the 3rd strikeout of the night by David Hess. And that brings us to our mid-game recap, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. It came in the first inning with 1 on and 1 out, and Jose Ramirez for the 37th time this year. And the 13th time he hit a home run in the first inning. That has been it. Carrasco has shut out Baltimore on 3 hits through 6. And Hess, since the first inning, has scattered 3 singles.
Now, the longest Hess has pitched this year has been 6 2/3 innings. That came against Tampa. But his debut, Major League debut, came May 12th against them. They went against Tampa as well. He went 6 innings twice against them, once against Washington and once against Toronto, and he's gone 6 here tonight.
Mullins calls for it, makes the catch. The Indians go in order. We roll on to the 7th. Still 2-0 Cleveland. Indians baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk. Proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right down the street on the lakefront here in downtown Cleveland. Brandon Geyer taking over in right field as we move to the 7th inning. For Baltimore, 6, 7, 8 hitters due up. Renato Nunez will lead off. He walked in the 4th. Carrasco already over 100 pitches. But I suppose Tito figures, you know, he's retired this side. 4 out of the 6 innings he's worked tonight. He hasn't really had to overexert himself, so pitch count maybe not as big a factor.
Well, the 7th inning and getting that 1 extra innings, it means an awful lot sometimes if you're getting down. And not that it's down to the bottom part of the lineup, it just that he's been crisp. He's had a nice breaking ball tonight. 6 strikeouts, just the 1 walk.
Inside corner, and it's 1-2. Adam Simber, right-handed submariner, and the lefty Andrew Miller are up in the Cleveland bullpen as Cookie rolls along here into the 7th with 6 strikeouts. The ground ball to third. Ramirez cuts it off, and he got him with a good throw. 1 down. Time for a game break. Let's check in with Al Pawlowski.
All right, Matt, Rick, let's see what's happening with Toronto and the New York Yankees in tonight. Marcus Stroman a rough night, giving up 5 runs, including this 3-run homer to Neil Walker, his 7th of the year. That put the Yankees ahead at the time 5-4. Since then, Toronto has tied it. They're even at 5, bottom of the 5th at Yankee Stadium, fellas.
Long way to go on that one in that ballpark.
How about that? We'll spot you 4 before we even come to bat, and we're tied halfway through the game. Tim Beckham reached on an error, originally ruled a hit, then changed, and then singled in the 4th inning. A little low. Way out in front of it. You know, one thing I wondered about when we left Cincinnati the other night, Reds have now dropped 4 straight, but San Francisco followed the Indians into Cincinnati. Giants coming off a very emotional series against the Dodgers. You know, would there be a little bit of a letdown? As that pitch is fouled right back. And the Giants and the Reds are 1-1 in the 7th inning in Cincinnati.
1-1, and Cincinnati has 10 hits in that game.
Do they really?
10, and the Giants have 5.
That's hard. In that ballpark, that's hard to do, to get 10 hits and only score 1 run.
Exactly.
One-two, rounded to third. Ramirez. 2 down. Injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elkanel. And Joey Votto dealing with that left knee injury. We noticed it when we were in Cincinnati. He was having a tough time running down the line and really just trying to run the bases. So I'm not surprised they put him on the DL.
No, not whatsoever. The way he was moving.
As you guys do Elk also, Edwin Encarnacion is going to start swinging the bat on Sunday or Monday, hopefully. But they looked at his hand. His hand looks great. The bicep looks really good. And Tito expects when the 10-day DL day is up that he'll be right back in the lineup and should be good to go.
1-0 pitch. Popped him up. And this is in foul ground and playable for Alonso.
There's your 1 inning extra.
How about that? Cookie goes 116 pitches tonight. 7 shutout innings. Adam Pletko goes for the Tribe. Alex Cobb will pitch for the O's. Alan Jensen will have a special 3 o'clock start with Indians Live. And the play-by-play begins at 4 right here on Sports Time Ohio. Remember, tomorrow there will be a very special pregame ceremony honoring Jim Thome you won't want to miss. So tune in at 3 o'clock Eastern tomorrow for all the action. Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made by Buck Showalter. And the new pitcher is Miguel Castro. Castro, 2 up, 7 down, 3.86 ERA on the year. And it's been a tough month. He lost back-to-back appearances for the first time in his career, August 7th and August 10th.
Well, he has a very good arm. He can rush it up there. Tall and lanky.
Well, he cannot lose tonight's game because he comes in with the Baltimore already trailing. But he has 7 losses this year, which is the most in the majors by a reliever. That's not something you ever want to have on your resume as a relief pitcher, because they pride themselves on holding the lead when they get into the game.
You're absolutely right.
Greg Allen sends one high in the air to center. And Mullins makes the grab one away. Back to the top of the order. Francisco Lindor 0 for 3 on the night.
Number 12, Francisco Lindor.
Crushed down the right field line. It's a fair ball. That drilled the wall, and Frankie's going to have to hurry. The throw's ahead of time, and he's a dead duck. Wow, that hit the wall so hard that it bounced right back to Rickard, making it an easy throw to second base. But Lindor had already made up his mind.
Yeah, he wanted that 40 double. I mean, that ball had to go off the bat at least 105, I would say, minimum. It put a dent in the wall. But Rickard out in right field makes a beautiful throw, and they certainly do get Frankie at second base. Good throw, right in the air, right on the money.
Two down for Michael Brantley. Brantley has walked twice, singled, and scored a run. Now the 1-1, and Castro takes, or I should say Brantley takes the Castro fastball for a strike. 1-2 is the count. Routine roller to short, and the inning is over. The Indians go 1-2-3. And we head to the 8th. 2-0 Cleveland. inning, and we'll check out our T-Mobile Built for Baseball. With Carlos Carrasco coming out with 7 innings tonight of 3-hit shutout baseball. He walked 1. That came in the 4th inning. But he struck out 6, including Joey Rickard with the bases loaded in the only stressful inning he had all night, if you can call it that. He retired the side in order 5 of the 7 innings that he pitched here this evening. So as we turn it over to the 8th inning, here is Andrew Miller. And Andrew Miller making his first appearance in 4 days. He pitched in the Indians' 10-3 win over Cincinnati. Caleb Joseph is 0 for 2 on the night for Baltimore. Struck out in the 3rd and he grounded out in the 5th. Joseph is one of those guys who thrives at home, batting .289 in 30 games at Oriole Park, but in 28 games on the road, just a .146 average. Old foul. This is Miller's 6th appearance since coming off the disabled list on August the 3rd. In the previous 5 games, he's worked 5 innings. And he's given up just 3 hits, striking out 4, walking a couple. Pulled foul.
A breaking ball there.
So what we've seen to this point is just trying to get that fastball command back.
Right. Well, he's going to have to pitch his way in, and they're going to want to get him as many opportunities as they can in situations. And it's like a work in progress. After missing all that time, he was out from May 25th, missed all of June, all of July, coming back in August. So.
Missed inside with the fastball, full count. And it's not like you can just say, okay, we're in August, so let's run him out. Let's get him 5 out of 7 games, and it doesn't work that way.
That fastball that I'm watching tonight is only about 90 miles an hour.
Tops the breaking ball.
And that's what he's doing, falling off the breaking ball, and he's missed with his fastball.
The payoff pitch is fouled off again. And again, the 3-2 is outside, and that time he missed with the breaking ball. So a leadoff walk. Our great clip of the game from Wednesday down in St. Louis. The Indians bullpen was dynamite. Cody Allen striking out the side. Brad Hand doing his job. Those are good games that, as we said at the time, the bullpen can kind of build upon.
They allowed just 1 run over 10 2/3 innings. And since the All-Star break, you can see a 3.29 ERA. Just 4 of the 37 inherited runners to score. That's doing a good job.
Cedric Mullins, a switch hitter, showing bunt and took a strike. Eight for 23 now since the call up. Not showing bunt and fouls it back. It's 0-2.
Matt, Rick, as you guys talk about Andrew Miller and where he's at, last weekend to some may have been a little odd because we didn't see Andrew get up. He didn't pitch in Chicago. But today in talking to Carl Willis, he said basically it's more beneficial for them to work on his mechanics than running him out there right now because they want to get his mechanics back to where they need to be. So Miller has told me he feels fine. There's just some things that don't feel right when he's coming out of his windup right now.
So it's kind of like a balance between bullpen work and game action.
Right. And he said, I could have pitched, but when we're working all day long on, and, getting the mechanics right, Tito just doesn't want to run him out there until they know that he feels completely comfortable with where he's at.
And the breaking ball misses down and in after he just missed the previous pitch. And now it's 2-2.
Many swings and misses. They're falling off a lot of pitches here.
Well, we have seen him when he's at his best. That breaking ball has sharp
bite to it.
Movement down and to a right-handed hitter down and in to the back foot. So the slider has break in and has depth. Not to mention he's got when he's right, a good fastball that keeps hitters in between.
Oh yeah, he locates the fastball about 94 when he was the Andrew Miller we know, and then that slider's usually about 85, which is about 81 now.
Fastball misses upstairs and a full count. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. 1 down.
Well, there you go. That's the swing and miss he was looking for. There's the slider down in. Now that had nice bite to it. And he gets him to swing over the top of it. Get the first out of the inning.
Yeah, and up comes Jonathan Villar, 0 for 3 on the night. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. See the name on that bat?
I did not.
Eric Sogard.
The nerd?
Yeah.
He must have brought him with him.
Foul back. Sogard, the former Oakland A and former Milwaukee Brewer, where Villar played with him.
Yeah, earlier this year.
Yeah. Must have liked his.
Matter of fact, didn't they send him down right after we left Milwaukee?
Yeah, he was right around there.
Yeah.
I remember.
Well, they sent him down when we were there.
And the 1-2 is a foul back. Speaking of the Oakland A's, just 2 games back of Houston in the American League West.
They're playing a series tonight in Oakland against Houston.
Slow chopper to first. Alonso has it. He'll wait. And now he'll flip it to first. Where Kitten discovers 2 down. Joseph moves in the scoring position.
Start dead batteries with NOCO.
2 down. Terry Francona is going to go to the bullpen with a right-handed hitter and a power hitter at that. Mancini coming up. We're going to see Adam Simber with the Indians up 2-0. From the bullpen to face Trey Mancini. Simmer last pitched 5 days ago against the White Sox. Gave up 2 home runs in that game. So his manager calling on him in a tight spot here. And that looked like a good pitch that was called a ball. As a light rain begins to fall here at Progressive Field.
I thought I saw fans walking up the aisles. I'm thinking, what
Yeah.
are they doing? But it's looks like it's misting a little bit.
Out of play to the right. Fouled right back.
Good pitch that tied him up on the inside part of the plate there.
Simber with the tying run at the plate delivers, and it's fouled off to the right side. Days 1 and 2. Slowed it down but missed up and away. 2 and 2. Tigers lead the Twins 2-0. They're in the 5th in Minneapolis. And a ground ball up the middle. Kipnis can't get it. Around third, heading home is Caleb Joseph. He will score, and it's a 1-run game.
Well, the leadoff walk comes back. A 2-out base hit there.
That run charged to Miller.
See the location of this pitch. That one was right down the middle and elevated a little bit, and that's why it went straight back up the middle. And it gets through. So Baltimore is on the board. It gets past Simber on the mound, and you don't take a chance there. That's the tying run at first base. You don't let him get into scoring position, and now you got some work to do with a power hitter.
Mark Trumbo, the batter, 1 for 3 on the night. And a weak ground ball back to Simber. Makes a nice play to retire the side. It's now 2-1, middle of the 8th. Cleveland on top, bottom of the 8th inning, looking to try and add to the lead. Light rain continues to fall. Miguel Castro worked a scoreless 7th. He's on the pitch here in the 8th. Jose Ramirez, 2-run homer in the 1st. It's all the offense for Cleveland tonight.
Yeah, he picked on a fastball with his 37th home run, and there was a man aboard, Michael Brantley, who walked before him.
Miller Lite hold true moment. Jim Thome, Indians Hall of Famer, who was on with us earlier, has hit the most of these in franchise history with 39 career first inning homers. Jose Ramirez has hit 13 of them this year. To second, Villar. 1 away. Up comes Yandi Diaz. Singled in the 1st, walked in the 3rd. Called out on strikes his last time up. Going away. Pretty good drizzle, and it's one of those straight down rains. A ton of wind. Right back to the mound. And there are 2 away. Here's our lows, a whole team together. Stolen bases. Well, Sandy Alomar has watched the guys when they get to first run with precision and accuracy. They've stolen 98 bases. That's the most in the majors. And Rick, most of these guys, when you look at it, they don't get caught very often. I mean, Lindor's been caught 7 times, and that stands out.
Yeah, 25 as a team. But anytime you're over 75% stealing bases, if you're at 80 or above, that's excellent.
Yonder Alonso drives one to deep center. Back is Mullins and makes the catch on the warning track. The Indians go 1-2-3. We'll go to the 9th. Cody Allen will try to beat the rain and knock this one down. The Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Recapping our storylines tonight, brought to you by your Ford dealers. Cedric Mullins on the rookie watch tonight was 0 for 4. Jose Ramirez on the Orioles watch hit a 2-run homer in the 1st, and that has stood up right until this very moment. Cody Allen will try to nail it down. A 2-1 Cleveland lead. Chris Davis, Renato Nunez, Tim Beckham due up.
Well, we told you about the pitching in the month of August, especially starting pitching for the Indians again. Once again, they did not allow a run. Dealing, turning it over to the bullpen, who's been pitching very good since the All-Star break, and Cody's been dealing too.
His last time out was maybe as good as we've seen him. He just dominated Cincinnati in his last appearance. And he went 2 innings of scoreless baseball, striking out 4. He's got Chris Davis. Davis 1 for 3, takes a strike. The all-time saves leader in franchise history. $145 career saves for Cody. Davis goes fishing. It's 1-2. Oh yeah, locked him up inside corner. He was throwing that nasty yacker down and in, and this time upstairs. Chris Davis was frozen by it.
Yeah, that's the 2 drop in. That curveball up around your eyes, and then all of a sudden it dips and it drops right into the strike zone. Good pitch. First out.
Renato Nunez 0 for 2 with a walk. Threw the fastball by him, and it's 1-1. Over the last 3 seasons, only Cody Allen, Kenley Jansen, and Craig Kimbrell have saved at least 30 games in each of those past 3 seasons.
Yeah, you're taking for granted a lot of times.
Yeah, absolutely. Just missed again. 2-2, or excuse me, 3-1. And I think, you know, you look at Cody and he's sitting there with 24 saves. Pretty good bet. He's going to be at 30 before this season's all said and done.
No doubt about it. He will be mad. It's just that, you know what, people expect 1, 2, 3 innings. They don't want any stress, any drama, or anything like that, and that's awfully hard to do in today's game.
Well, there's the first bit of drama. A 1-out walk. Stay tuned for Indians Live, presented by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. It's coming up next, right here on Sports Time Ohio. Alan Jensen will have the highlights. Andre will have a reaction from the clubhouse. Maybe a sneak peek at a firework or 2. Hopefully the rain doesn't put a damper on that.
The boys will be looking right behind those guys doing it. You'll hear them.
Get a pinch runner at first base for Renato Nunez. That's Craig Gentry.
And he's a guy that can steal bases. But now you've been sitting for a while. The track is a little moist. Do you take the chance and send him? Gentry's stolen 10. He's been caught 3 times. Cody does a decent job, better than decent, at holding runners. He'll hold the baseball. There's no one thing you can look for.
Did he go? He did not. Gomes has thrown out better than 28% of the would-be base stealers on the year.
Zone.
Runner goes. Pitch bounce way out in front of the plate.
No,
Gomes has to hurry to keep him at second. He does.
Well, he went head first, and it's a good thing because if he picked it up, he might have been able to get to third. That ball goes into the dirt, so he picked the right pitch to run on. And Gentry, we said, can run, but he is flat out a straight steal. He knew he had it, but he didn't pick up the ball, and there's no one there to tell him. Not his fault. His job is done. He stole the base. He picked the right pitch, but the Indians catch a little bit of a break right there. So Gomes will go out with Cody, get on the signs with a man on second base, and that is the tying run out there at second.
They're set by Cody. Checks the runner. And it's popped in the air. Left field. Brantley. 2 down. And the last hope for Baltimore is Joey Rickard, and he is 0 for 3 on the night. Rain playing havoc throughout baseball tonight. The Yankees and Blue Jays now on a rain delay in New York. Pirates and Cubs were late getting started in Pittsburgh. They're only in the 4th inning in that game. Raining here, but Cody is 1 out away from nailing it down for the Indians. They lead it 2-1 in the ninth. Rickard swings and fouls it right back. Everybody up on their feet. The 0-1 pitch. Bullseye.
Good dart down. Very good pitch. Rickard's checking and saying that ball might have been a little low, but boy, that was a beautiful pitch. Down at the knees.
28,264. The 0-2 up high. There's the 1-2. A bit outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And so Rickard fighting his way right back into this at bat. Carlos Carrasco went 7 3-hit shutout innings tonight, striking out a half dozen. Andrew Miller and Adam Simber combined to pitch the 8th. And the Orioles got on the board. Now Cody Allen 1 out away in the 9th. Swung on and missed. He struck him out to end the game. Cody's 24th save of the year makes it a 2-1 Cleveland final. The Indians have now won 6 in a row as they go 19 games over the 500 mark at 70 and 51. Baltimore now 36 and 86. The win goes to Carlos Carrasco. He is 15 and 6, tied for the league lead in victories. And the loss will go to David Hess, who is now 2 and 7 on the year for Baltimore.
Who would ever thought that was going to be a 2-1 ball game when Ramirez hits a 2-run homer in the first, and you figure, all right, this kid's never faced it before. He could be in trouble. Give him credit. He settled down. But the pitching of the Indians, we talked about it in the open. They were very good. Carrasco, another good one, and Cody Elm and the bullpen do the rest.
2-1 is the final. We'll have some final thoughts right after this.